uh, Scottie Pippen is due, right? Um, but he brought an element to that team. Like obviously they were retooling throughout, obviously ever since 1992, right? Like they had success when they were always competitive with Clyde Drexler and all those guys there. But they won 59 games. They had a very balanced roster, loaded with veteran talent. They had uh, obviously you had Rasheed Wallace as their far and away best player. He was in his prime. He was fantastic defensively. They had Pippen, as we talked about. They had Steve Smith, Damon Stoudemire, all these names that you were like flashes in the pan, right? Sabonis, Detlef Shrimp, Brian Grant, Greg Anthony, Bonzi Wells, all these guys like very long, lanky forwards, right? And guards who could defend, shoot, get out on the break. They were just a fantastic team, matched up well with virtually anyone, right? Obviously, Shaq was still out there giving work, but that team was just so underrated in my opinion. They could do everything. They were fun to watch. They had a great team mentality, right? Like you didn't have a lot of personalities or egos on that team that needed to the ball to survive, to thrive. They were very much team first. I loved watching them, and I mean, obviously they just ran into the buzzsaw, a couple years in a row with Shaq and Kobe. Like they were just peaking at the right time. But I feel like that team could succeed in virtually any environment in any year, right? Um, my other team here was, and let's see what the comments here say. Teams I've seen. Wooded says his top 5 underrated teams of all time: 01 Sixers, '05 Bulls, '02 Kings, '91 Blazers, '96 Suns. So that's a great list, Woodage. I'm talking about maybe teams that didn't even have that kind of success, like the '01s or like the '01 Sixers made the finals, right? '02 Kings, sure, great pick there. They'd probably be mine too. '96 Suns from the finals, but I would say also, and these are I'm just going off of teams that I liked. I enjoyed watching. I liked their roster construction, uh, and like teams that I really like. I like the '97 Heat. I've always said the '97 version of the Heat was one of my favorite ones of all time, just because like you and even just slightly before that when they had Glenn Rice. But the '97 Heat I thought were a lot like in a lot of ways the 2000 Blazers, where they were loaded with veteran talent. Like you look at that team, and they had obviously you had the front, the mainstays, the guys leading from the front, in Tim Hardaway and Alonzo Mourning. But then you had forgotten role players, great role players who could stretch the floor, shoot, defend, like Jamal Mashburn, Dan Marley, veteran guys. Jamal Mashburn, I think, is one of the most underrated players in NBA history, right? Obviously, you're not going to see these guys in the Hall of Fame, or you're not going to see him, in the starting 5. But if you want cohesive guys who can do it all, you pick someone like you have a PJ Brown, right? Dan Marley, I think, is criminally underrated as a two-way player. You had Vashawn Leonard, one of my favorite players of all time. And I mean, you just have all these guys. Isaac Austin.
Look at my guy Travis talking role players. I love it.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely,
tell
right?
you, listen, I tell you, man, people don't understand sometimes. And again, one of the things you can make a break with the role players. Like it's obviously the brand of basketball you play is predicated on your stars, but it's like sometimes basketball is like it's like a recipe. You can't have premium main ingredients and then use like the seasoning. You know what I'm saying? Like the cheap. If you got to use that good seasoning. That's a supporting cast. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, man. But yeah. Oh, excuse me. I got the music in the background. I'm here at lunch. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to tap in real quick.
Yeah,
But
no problem, man. We appreciate you coming in there. And guys, I dropped the link uh, to the show here early, so that anyone who wants to come in here and chime in, feel free. Like that's what we're all about here, and we're trying to go ahead and cultivate that. So you guys can chop in. Like we're not expecting to give a speech. Just come and chop it up. Tell me what your favorite teams of all time were. I don't care what they were. Like I'm more interested in like underrated teams. Which teams that you thought just kind of flew on the radar, you enjoyed watching, and whatever. But going on from there, like we had some good ones in here, right? Like Rose said, the the 97 Knicks, sure. Like a lot of those iterations of the Knicks and Heat and like Magic were good competitive teams, right? Which succeed in every era. And like you just have some of these teams, like they mentioned, like the ones I mentioned, they were just unfortunate that like they were in the same area that there were these dynasties, right? Like that they weren't going to really get past. Like you had like the Nets for a few years, right? The Nets, like in the early 2000s, they were like that team. If Shaq, Kobe, and Tim Duncan didn't exist, like would that team have won a couple chips? Maybe, right? You had Ryan, Jason Kidd, like Kerry Kittles, Heath Leonard, all these times, right? All these kids. They just had the unfortunate mess. Like same thing with the Blazers, the Kings. I think the Kings would be a 60-win team today minimum, right? The early 2000s Kings, just because of that makeup of their team. They were fantastic passers. They could shoot the three. They would get out of the break. They could defend you on the perimeter. All these teams that would have the recipe for success today, right? I mean, I would just try to picture some of them. One of my favorite things to do is picture them in today's league, and it would just be a blowout.
You went this way.
Huh? Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, Woodage says right. 97 was really a last great year for a lot of players. Adrian Reed, yeah, that's true. Like, we really saw, like, the morning started going downhill after that. You know, Shaq was obviously peaking, but, you know, obviously you had Michael Jordan. And I'd like to let at least Pippen had a couple years left of like at least his leadership and defense. Like, you know, on the I'm glad we got to see him on the Blazers, because that was kind of like a you know, that was a team that came together. But I love all those teams. Like even like a team like the '86 Rockets. You know, I know they lost, but you go and look at, you know, the teams they were going through. It's fun to see like teams like that where they were in the middle of maybe the most top-heavy league of all time, right? Like if we're going to win the championship, like in 1986 or 87, you had to go through like a prime Larry Bird, prime Magic Johnson. Michael Jordan was going to be in the playoffs. Prime Pistons squad, right? Like you just had to go through a gauntlet, right? And so, I mean, there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of teams that are just giant what ifs, right? And yeah, I mean, you know, they had some of our favorite players, and like I'm glad my second favorite player ever is Glenn Rice. I love me some Glenn Rice, and I love him. I love that he got a ring finally. Obviously, he wasn't just he was a contributor. He was like a third option on that Lakers team in 2000, and I love that was there for him because he was there for him. He shipped in. He was clutch. They could depend on him. And I loved watching that team because of their depth, versatility, and, you know, really just, you know, a really unspoken guy like that got a ring, made me very happy. Same thing with Mitch Richmond, like in 02. You know, obviously he was just a subsidized role player on that team. But this was a man who was understated, brilliant throughout the 90s, right? And obviously, you know, he didn't get the shine that maybe he deserved because he wasn't on a powerhouse. He wasn't Michael Jordan. But this man was one of the best scorers in NBA history, you know, by any and all measurements. And he finally, you know, got a ring, took the last shot in that final series, just and made it, right, in the 0-2 round. So, you know, just stories like that make me happy, you know. And I love, you know, just thinking about some of the teams like, you know, that we go under the radar that, you know, they were fun to watch. They didn't like, hey, this year's Magic. Right? Nobody was expecting anything of them. And, you know, they pulled together. They decided, hey, you know, we're going to hang our hat on defense. We're not the best three-point shooting team, but they had a lot of great personalities on that team. I was really pulling for them. You know, nobody expected them to you know, get past who at the time the favorites were Boston and Cleveland, right? But they were out there. They showed up. And who knows, you know, what they'll do this year. I think will be very good. But anyway, feel free to launch some more of these underrated teams you guys feel like in the chat, right? But also, we're going to get to right now, and we're going to mix it up. Talk about your teams, underrated teams. Talk about the teams that you think are going to exceed today, right? We can do our favorites going on. We did that last week. But we're going to switch over to Q&A. Okay. You can ask us anything. Ask me anything you want basketball related, all right? your questions, my answers, and we'll see what's going to go on here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and. I mean, if you want to discuss the upcoming season, great. If you want to discuss years of the past, fantastic. What do you want to talk about? This is your show. We're kind of public servants to you guys, right? You guys are the fans. You guys deserve to have the interaction. You guys make everything go. And, we got some, hopefully we're accumulating some of the better basketball minds here, though. But, yeah, no, we have this 09 Blazers. Sure. Yeah. Devon Hawkins says 09 Blazers. Yeah, so the Blazers have been curious, right, throughout NBA history. Like, there's been times where they've been. I mean, maybe this goes for every team, but they've almost been good like every 15 years or so. And so, they're on off. But I know a lot of people pulling for the Blazers this year, and so we'll see how that goes for them. But I think they're still like kind of in a rebuilding phase. But we'll see. Wooded says interesting how Zion plays. Yeah, obviously that's been a storyline, right? Where is Zion gonna he's shown up and he says, I'm healthy, I'll be healthy. And then what? He plays well, or the team sucks, or he just flames out after a few games. He's out of shape. This time though, he looks like he's in shape. He sounds like he's on a mission, right? He's lost a lot of weight. And we will see how that team does, right? I mean, I think it's gonna be tough. I mean, I don't think anyone was really expecting anything of them, but I think that Zion will be. I mean, I'm not going to say most improved, but he might be a dark horse MVP candidate. We'll see. It's a lot, but we'll see how to play. We'll see what his durability looks like by the All-Star break. So, Dakota Brock says yes, the 10-11 Bulls. Yeah, fantastic team. Right? Hanging the hat on defense for a lot of those years from 7 to 11. They had MVP Derrick Rose. I think they surprised a lot of players, right? They had the best record in the league, right, in 2011. And they gave the Heat all they could handle. And maybe I'll get your guys' take on that. What do you guys think about the quote unquote controversy of Derrick Rose winning the MVP? And a lot of the shills say it should have been LeBron. Right, I disagree with that completely. Right, I think Derrick Rose earned that MVP, and the reason I think that is because if you look across the board, like just on paper, that Bulls team wasn't going to be. Oh, we expect them to have the best record in the league. We expect them to beat the finals. No way. Right, the supporting cast was very, very questionable at most. Right, they were not loaded in any sense of the word. We had Luol Deng. I mean, no one was predicting anything for these Bulls. Right. Derrick Rose elevated that team. You talk about gravity, he had that. He made that team go in every sense of the word. He 1,000% deserved MVP for not just their record, but what he did it with. If you ask me, that's what I would look like every single time. Beyond the stats, who's your leader on the best team, and also what's the context of the role players there? I mean, did you have just no-name guys that you lifted to? I mean, hell, 07 LeBron. If we give MVP for the playoffs, right? Regardless of how far you make it. I mean, he led that team to the finals. But I mean, that's it. I'll just use that as an example, right? 2011, Derrick Rose was the absolute right person to win that MVP. Okay. I don't want to hear that. I mean, what is the case for LeBron, right? Several other players were good or better statistically, right? And he had arguably the most help in league history as far as who you couldn't really double him that season, right? But I mean, they had, that team was very. I mean, the 2011 Bulls, they were very cohesive, especially defensively. Yeah, like what it says there. They had Joakim Noah, they had Carlos Boozer, they had Kurt Thompson, and yeah, all these guys were missing games though, and Derrick Rose was still able to kind of elevate that team to heights that were just completely unexpected. That's really the mark of a true MVP, right? And I just hate when you have disingenuous arguments or people who say, if you're going to say someone else deserves the MVP, make that argument, okay? And you better come with more than just stats, okay? Because we don't do the casual takes around here, right? We'll call you out, we'll debunk you, okay? So with that being said, yeah, tell me why, right? Tell me why you think he did not deserve. In my opinion, I think they made the right call there. There have obviously been let's see. And I mean, moving on from there, we can segue into what do you guys think was maybe the worst MVP or the biggest MVP robbery, right? To me, that'll always be 2006 Kobe for a number of reasons. I mean, you can say what you want about the record, the around. I mean, I wasn't mad that Nash won it in 2005, considering the turnaround there, right? You can make an argument other people deserve it statistically, but Nash was really one of the only pieces added to that 2005 team, right? And they went from, like, I think dead last in that division to winning it, right, the next year. But yeah, I mean, 06 Kobe though, maybe the greatest scoring season of all time when you adjust for era, pace, really the only option on his team consistently. 2006 Kobe is the greatest scorer we've ever seen for a season, right? And and that team I don't think would have sniffed 10 wins without Kobe. Is that a hot take? I don't think so. I don't think that team would have been anywhere near the playoffs, right? And that's the definition. I don't care. And plus, they were in still what is arguably one of the best conferences of all time, right? Kobe's carving out. You talk about bums, right? Like, you talk about. I know that everyone says, "Oh, LeBron, all these players took so and so bums to the playoffs." But when you look at this is a team. I don't think you realize what 06 Kobe did. This is a team that they had no up until that point. No all-stars. Nobody ever made an all-star. Nobody ever made an all-defensive team. Whatever made an all NBA team. No one. I mean, you had Lamar Odom turned into a serviceable player. Sure. Sis Barker, Kwame Brown, Chris Mim. Those years. Devin George. I mean, your starting five was, aside from Brian Cook sometimes, right? You had Chris Mim, Kwame Brown, Sis Barker, Lamar Odom. Maybe the worst roster aside from Kobe Bryant in NBA history, right? You took him away. I actually did a report on that before, where if you took Kobe Bryant out of that team, out of the lineup, right, and you inserted any other player on that team into Kobe Bryant's place, they had the worst PER in the I think it was the last 50 years, right, of any starting five ever, because that team was just pure trash. Okay, Kobe, you want to talk about dragging bums? I will point to that season every time. Forget what Hakeem did. Impressive, sure. But you can point to that roster because he still had ballers on that team, right? But Kobe Bryant had no one outside of Lamar Odom. But that was still Lamar coming around, but that was just impressive to me.
I think they were building on a little bit of something there. Look, yeah, the roster did not have bona fide second star, right? Lamar Odom, for as talented as he was a little bit underwhelming. I kind of thought they envisioned him in the Pippen role, and he was not quite that player. But they were at least building on something, and I think I just think that when it comes to certain rosters, right? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, way we look at teams, rosters are kind of thrown together, and they have to sink or swim very fast. I like it when you do build on something, and obviously, right, Kwame Brown, not exactly not the billing that you wanted from his first overall picks up, but once he was exchanged for Pau Gasol, then that team was able to take a quantum leap. You know what I'm saying? But I can say in those years they were building on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. No,
they made the play. They made the playoff. They only missed the playoff one time, and they made the playoffs another 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then by third, fourth, see what I'm saying? Some of these teams need a 3-4 year progression, just like early Scotty and Horace and them guys. You know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, also that team, in 06, right? Most of those players were gone by the time. You had who was going to be there for the finals in 09? You had Devin George, right? You had Luke Walton was still there. Lamar. They had pieces. Andrew Bynum. They had pieces, but they were overall the team. You brought guys like Fisher back. You obviously added.
How many years did Ariza play? Because Ariza was really key.
Ariza was added too. Ariza, I think he was gone after 11.
No. He actually left in '09.
Oh, no.
He went to Houston, and Artest went there for the
In 2010, yeah,
2010
you're right.
season. Yeah, so it's almost
I
like
think they could. Trevor Ariza was
yeah,
underrated, especially
yeah,
defensively.
very underrated, very under
Yeah,
defensively. Again, is a guy that's still like helping LeBron in 2022. And if that team wasn't so, if that team wasn't so bad, the rest of the positions they would have been. They
yeah,
probably, Ariza would have been more. That's his last couple of years as well. But it goes to
yeah.
show you.
Well, I want to ask. Here we go. So, who said that? Biggest MVP. So Dakota Brown. I think maybe I disagree with you there, Dakota, because you said the biggest finals MVP robbery, right? Maybe if we say regular season, because Anthony Davis in the regular season led the Lakers in everything, even advanced metrics, everything except assists, points, rebounds, blocks, steals. He was better analytically than LeBron James that year, right? And obviously LeBron didn't win the MVP. I think it was Giannis, but between them, I think he was the most valuable player in that regular season, ahead of LeBron James. I know the narrative is LeBron led the league in assists, so he is, but no, give me AD, right? But in the finals specifically, LeBron led that team in points, rebounds, and assists, right? I don't know how you could say that AD was better than LeBron in that finals. Maybe during the playoffs, heck, sure, because he led the playoffs in points and win shares, right? But I mean, I think LeBron was clearly the best player in that finals, right? Sure, defense, but he wasn't even the best defender on that team, right? Or was he? Like, he had great help underneath, great help, right? He had, still Dwight Howard. He had JaVale McGee. You had, what was it? And all these players, right? But I will drop, yes, Jeremiah, I will drop a link here in a second there for sure. But I mean, I think that's an interesting argument. If you want to make that argument, Dakota, then I would listen. I would love to hear that argument because I'm open to it, that he was robbed of the finals MVP. And Dakota said, would the Lakers have been in the playoffs? Oh, absolutely not, Dakota. And like I said, I think that AD was clearly their best player that season, in the regular season, right? And I don't think it was even close. You could have facilitated, but he was their best player offensively and defensively. 100%. Shout out to Iron Man 32. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. We're glad to have you here. But yeah, a lot of great questions here. I will go ahead and drop the link again for whoever wants to kind of. Jeremiah Scott says he wants to get up here. And yeah, remember what the original question was, guys. Who are your most underrated dark horse teams of all time? Right? We talk about whatever you want, and keep the questions going. Great questions. I love these ones. Kick it around, right? D1 says, nah, AD should have had finals MVP as well, but that's not the biggest. Big E got robbed. Sure. Yep. I mean, these are all great takes, and I love just hearing the reasoning why. It's all fantastic. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna look to do some, or actually, might as well let you guys know, right? So in a couple, so we're gonna look to kind of do some changes, right, on this channel, because one of my co-founders, Dart, he's not gonna be with us anymore. All right, and we're just getting that out there. Not going to go super into it, but we're going to try and maybe meld some of our channels here and kind of collab with each other even more to give you much more consistent content, right? So it's not just maybe a bunch of shows going on, and so that'll be something we have in the works, all right? But that being said, still a work
Question, Trav. Do you tap in with Rex? I know him and Dart. Well, really cool.
I have not talked to Rex yet. I was gonna let him do whatever he wanted with Dart, but he was not really going to be part of my ongoing programming.
Okay.
If he wants to do something with Dart, that's fine. But Dart is. It really sounded like he was just gonna not really be a YouTube guy anymore.
Gotcha.
So, hey,
I wish him. Yeah, I wish him the best in whatever he does, man.
Yeah,
I
no,
do think he
definitely.
has talent and all
Yeah,
that,
like
and you know,
all the best for Dart. No hard feelings at all. Just hey, man, do what you got to do, and
yeah.
we'll soldier on. But what up, Jeremiah? Jeremiah, I tried to email you, dude. Maybe I got the wrong address, but
you didn't get. I didn't get the email too.
did not. Okay, well, I'll double check with you, man.
This send me your
Put it
email.
in the private chat again, and I will make sure that I get it right this time. But yeah, Nick says that he is down to debate you next weekend.
Okay, Saturday.
Yes, yeah, Saturday, and they, on your same topic. So we'll set that up for sure.
Okay.
And so guys, also, so I get this out there, okay? Jeremiah A. Scott. Okay. So with that being said, guys, just so we're gonna go ahead and have a trivia question today. Also, give me a second here. Let's see. And I know Ro knows the answer to this. Okay. Okay. So this will be the same deal, guys. Okay. Whoever gets this, all right, they will have the option of either debating someone of their choice, whether it's like me, you can call anyone out here. Hell, you call out Jeremiah, you call it myself, you call it Ro. So we'll try to get that matchup you want. Debate anyone on any topic, or for a Sunday down the line, you can pick the topic that we talk about, and we'll come up here and chop it up with us for sure. Okay, and we'll do that. So I want to know what player, had, and I want to know more importantly the year. What player had the most turnovers in a single playoff series? Okay, all time, and what year?
James Harden 2014 15 against the Golden State Warriors.
Incorrect. Believe me, this one took me a long time. Now,
is it Westbrook in 2018?
No, it's not. This is one that I don't think a lot of people would ever guess, because it's so obscure, right? And believe me, I went to all these things that you guys are saying now, even in the chat. I went to these names that I thought of first. I was like, okay, I'm gonna check. No, like all these names, like it's, if someone gets it, because I don't think it's something you can Google, because Google just was telling me about like entire playoff runs. So it's
Magic in '88.
Manually check out. But you already don't know. I think you were there for the answer, Roba, unless you weren't.
What, back when you did this question on GJK one time?
Well, no. This has actually happened during the debate. Well, I won't tell you, but
okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to take a shot at it, for sure, because I think you're in a crazy.
So I'll guess Magic in '88.
That is not correct.
Okay, all right. Good.
Hey, good
guesses. I'm kind of happy to hear that.
To be fair, I
know you had a tough time with Rodman that year. And that
is it Jason Tatum 2022?
No, that was like the second place though.
So we're guessing it is a 7-game series, right? Because you're talking the most total turnover.
Yes, I will say it is a 7-game series, naturally. Right.
All right.
So, but yeah, it is, I think, one of the more obscure things there that you'll see. One sec.
Tim Duncan. Man, what? Oh, Tim Duncan in 06 against the Mavericks?
No.
Okay. I'm really kind of, because when you say obscure.
Yeah, to be fair, this is a very obscure question, and this is something that I had to comb through. I had to go through so many series to like check and compare, because it wasn't something that I've ever found that I could just Google, because it's I used all the search engines too, and they usually came up with like either an entire playoff run or career. They just don't understand what I was asking, you know. And so we got all these guesses. Come on, Woodage, you're due for one of these playoff or for one of these questions. You got this, man. Devon Hawkins says LeBron. Okay, if you say it's LeBron, Devon, I need to know what year or what playoff series. Okay, what playoff series and how many? Okay,
Was
I
it
wanna know.
was it Magic in '86?
It was not. No. All right. I want to know the player. I want to know the year, and I want to know how many turnovers. Okay. So
Was it LeBron in '07?
it was not. No. And remember, that was a 4-game series. So
I know.
what I will say, guys, is this player, he went to a 7th game. Okay. And so, I mean, obviously, if you want to use that, sure, but this was the record. Okay, and it still stands today. So it wasn't super recent. I will give you that clue as well. Right. But anyway, yeah, keep the questions going, guys. CP3 versus so Devon, Scott wanted to, or let's call him JS, my man JS here, wanted to debate NMB Sports, Nick from NMB Sports, on who's the better player. Maybe not greatest all time, but better in between LeBron and Larry Bird, which I think would be a great debate, right? Be hella nuanced. Nick says he's super down for that. We're going to shoot for that one next week and see if we get that set up. And so that'll be on a Saturday, right? And then we're going to try. I'm going to talk to CW Hero about trying to maybe get a little bit more mergy. Since Dart's gone, I'm going to have to run this thing by myself. So maybe I'm going to try and see if, me and CW can do a little bit more week collabs here. Things like that.
We got you, man. We got you.
Yeah, I think we have a good thing going. We just have to. I just
Was
kind of
it
have to
Jason
adjust.
Tatum in 2022 against Bucks in Game 7?
No, someone said Tatum already. That's not the answer, but it's very close.
I know, but I picked a different series, the Bucks.
No, yeah. So it's not Tatum, right?
Okay.
But
okay,
yeah,
so-
I thought Tatum
Wait.
too.
Was it Stockton against the Lakers in '88?
No, good guess though. Very good guess.
What we had to do.
Was it LeBron in 2016? Game
It was
7
not
award.
LeBron. No, LeBron in 2016. Yeah, good guesses though. Very good guesses. All these, and hey, props to you because like you named some 7-game series, right? 88 Lakers versus Jazz. 88 Lakers versus Jazz is one of the best series ever, right? Just prime Stockton Malone going against Magic, Worthy and them boys. Fantastic. But yeah. Come on, chat. You guys got this. Are you gonna chat? You guys gonna let Jeremiah Scott get the debate question right 2 times in a row? You guys gotta represent.
Was it? It had to be a long series.
It was, like I said, the clue is it did not happen in the last 5 years, and
Okay.
it was a 7-game series.
Like, what's the 5 years? What's the cutoff?
I'm not going to give you the cutoff, but I will say not in the last 5 years.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Devon Hawkins, no, that is not correct. It was not LeBron 2015.
Oh, that was a good guess. That was a good guess.
Iron Man says his top 5 slept on teams of all time are Mavericks 2011, Boston 08, Detroit 04, Lakers 2020, and last year's Patriots. Sure, those are great teams, Iron Man. But are they your favorite teams, or just teams that had like success? Because all those teams were finals teams, right? Right. I was talking about if they're your favorite team's great, fantastic. I could fuck with the 04 Pistons all day, but I want maybe your favorite teams that you watched, not necessarily that were in the finals or competitive, right? Like I said 97 Heat are my favorite team of all time. And then I love the 01 Blazers, guys like that, 02 Kings.
Was it Patrick Ewing in '94?
It was not. No. Good guess. Yes. But also guys, use some critical thinking here. Like, so if you're gonna have the most all time, right, you can probably mentally narrow it down to it's almost certainly going to be a facilitator, right? Or the guy who had the ball the most, right? So you can almost certainly rule out like power forwards or centers. I'm not saying all the time, but for this particular question, you can probably rule out guys like Shaq, Patrick Ewing, Morney, all these guys, right? I get it. Karl Malone was also a turnover machine, so he's maybe fair play. So just think though, right? And like I said, I gave you the hint. It wasn't super recent. It was a 7-game series, right? And it's probably going to be a guy who had the ball in his hands the majority of the time, right? Both initiating and in the way of offense too. So
Was it Steve Nash in 06?
it was not Steve Nash in 06. I mean, was that a 7-game series? They faced did they face the I want to say Mavericks? No, I got to go back and check on that.
I don't think the Suns ever had a 7-game series.
Yeah. Well, I think they did against no, that was not a 7-game against the Lakers. Okay. No, you're probably right. But no, it was not Nash. Good guess though. Good guess. He is a facilitator. But yeah, so Iron Man, I love those teams. Those teams are underrated. Last year's Indiana Pacers, yeah, Cinderella story, almost. I think they win if Halliburton didn't get hurt, maybe. But who knows? Maybe they'll surprise people this year. We'll see. We'll see how they look without their man. But I think people are counting them out entirely, and then maybe that's a mistake. But I think Orlando's coming out of the East. That's just me personally. But salute the Rap God, and Iron Man, my two favorite people from GJK fame. And also, let me give a shout out to Johnny. Johnny had a fantastic debate, I think, against Herm. Herm was there too. Great debate from those two guys over on King Speech Rose channel. Right, this was on Thursday, and great debate against Salute Rap God. And it was on what is more important, intangibles or raw stats. Both men came with a fantastic argument, right? Johnny was for stats. Herm was for intangibles. They both check that out if you haven't watched it. Go back and watch that. It's on Rose channel, right? King Speech Rose channel, Go Cats Network, 10 Toes Down podcast. Fantastic. Great debate. I was fortunate enough to be a judge during that debate. And, I told Herm, I eventually ruled for Johnny, but I told Herm that he had by far the hardest argument to make because you're arguing for something that technically doesn't exist in the sense that you can put it in a box score to something you can point to, right? And he did a great, great job of using examples. He flushed it out. And Johnny I think Johnny won just because he had a much easier road, but he did such a great job at using all the best arguments and information at his disposal that he didn't leave any meat on the bone. I told him that too. You used everything. You didn't make a half-assed argument just because you thought it was be easy. And, he went ahead and won, in my opinion. So with that said, he took it home to me. And yeah, we got everyone on the chat here. Iron Man, a salute to you guys. And just in case anyone wants to pop right up here again and join me and Jeremiah, I'll drop the link in there again. But Rap God, in case you want to chip in, man, we're talking about who are your 5 best teams, not best teams, but 5 most underrated teams of all time, or your 5 favorite teams, right? They can be anything. We got Apocalypse Now. I love that name. What's up, man? How's it going?
How's it going, T Perfect?
Good, man. How you doing?
Everything's fine, man. Thanks.
Awesome. What are your so the original question here, Nims, was what are some of your favorite teams of all time? Not even the best, just your favorite personal teams maybe you've seen.
My favorite teams is all time. If we're going off of by decade, I think it's I have to go with the 2008 Boston Celtics.
Nice.
Because you got KG, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce, Leon Poole, Sam Cassell, Shannon, not Shannon Brown, but PJ Brown. That team was stacked. With 3 Hall of Famers. They had a top 5 ranked offense in the league and the top 5 defense in the league. So I think they qualified for being the top team of all time. And then my personal favorite team is all time is gotta be the 2015 Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, without question, the best shooting backcourt duo in the league. Andre Iguodala, um, Sean Livingston, Justin Holiday, Leandro Barbosa, Brandon Rush, and
No,
Festus
great teams though.
Ezeli.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think they're definitely qualified for being in in the top NBA teams of all time.
No, absolutely, man. Good call on that. Yeah. Oh, wait, Celtics. That was tough. That was a fun team to watch. Like, yeah, because you had, like you said, great defensive team. They were great offensively too. One of the best teams ever. You had DPOY Garnett. I'm glad he finally got a ring, right? And that was one of the better teams ever. I love them. You had one of the more fun players to watch, right? In obviously Pierce. You had Ray Allen. You had Rajon Rondo. Like you said, he was the engine that made that team go. Like, fantastic team. Yeah, great call. It 2015 Warriors, fantastic team too. Curry's first MVP, right? So, I mean, really, really good. And what is maybe you take a crack at this trivia question, Paka, and that is most turnovers by a player in a single playoff series. Okay, we're looking for the name or the player, the year, and the amount of turnovers. So, let's see here. Sturdy says 2018 Braun Eastern Conference Finals versus turnover or versus Eastern Conference Finals. So let's fact check on Sturdy. Let's see. 1 second. 2018. Okay, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. All right. And you know what? Sturdy, you're supposed to leave some for the rest of these boys. But yes, Sturdy is correct. So I was trying, guys, to get it to where when I said it wasn't the last 5 years, it was close to that. But no, Sturdy, you are 100% correct. First try out of the gate. So 2018 Braun versus the Celtics, had 40 turnovers. Okay. Interestingly enough, Braun's also second on that list with 37 in 2008 versus another Celtics team. All right. So, hey.
I was so close because I said LeBron away against the Celtics.
You said LeBron 07. That was very close, man. Very close. But, yeah, Sturdy. Sturdy. So, Mr. Sturdy, you get to either call someone out for a debate, anyone you want, or you get to pick a topic that we can talk about it probably next Sunday, if you'd like.
Sturdy, I want smoke with you, Sturdy.
Yeah, but Scott wants to smoke with you too, sir. So you can debate him, or you can pick our topic.
I heard you say got Kareem as your GOAT.
Kareem?
That far does not deserve to have a GOAT title.
Oh. So you heard it, guys. He says, Jeremiah Scott says, Kareem does not deserve to have a GOAT title. No argument for Kareem, huh? That's rough.
Zero.
Zero argument for Kareem. Interesting. Well, I mean, what are your thoughts on that, guys? I have Kareem at third all time.
Me too. I got Kareem at 3. He's just not. It's a separate tier to me when we get in the top 2. The top 2 to me, they're separate. They separate themselves from the pack.
Yeah.
They to me. They're the leaders of the pack.
Yeah. No. Yes, Dirty. That was a very clutch series. Look at that. So yeah, monstrous production. Rap God says his favorite teams of all time: 99 Knicks, 15 Warriors, just like Baca said. He said 18 Celtics, 06 Clippers, nice, 07 Bulls. Great shout out. One of the best defensive teams of all time, right? Sturdy.
I would give you smoke on that Kareem take. I would give you smoke on that Kareem take, but I want to talk team.
Yeah, here we go. Hell,
No, Kareem.
I might debate you on that, Scott, in a couple weeks. That's a great topic.
Kareem has no GOAT title. He has no argument. No argument for the GOAT.
No argument for the GOAT. That's a spicy meatball right there.
Yeah. Let's look at some underrated Kareem teams. I would say, didn't he win 65 games a year after the champ? Something like that. Yeah, I mean, because I think the Kareem, Dandridge, Oscar, the last team with Oscar, that was a hell of a team. That was a hell of a team.
I would say
you had the Knicks and the Lakers there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that just a little pushback, because if I'm going to do the debate, I don't want to give everything away, but I mean, yeah, he led some of the best teams, right, as far as winning percentage. But I mean, if you're talking his GOAT case, right, I think he's like and this was even after the analytics came in, like halfway through his career, right? He's like the third most dominant analytic player ever. He has the most MVPs. He should have he should have 3 finals MVPs, but he has the statistical titles, right? He was completely dominant for an entire decade. He has arguably the highest peak of all time, one of them, top 3. I mean, I can make an argument pretty easily that his resume is better than. I put the link in the chat there, Sturdy. I'll do it again for you.
I'll make sure. Not like we got a ton of comments, right? So
Come on,
scroll up.
Sturdy.
I know some people
I've been
do come
waiting
in.
for this. Sturdy, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for debate for a long time.
Here's an aspect too. Here's an aspect, right? Because we just on Thursday we had the leadership. The stats versus intangibles debate.
Mm-hmm.
What team do you guys think was just like rife with intangibles?
The 04 Pistons.
The 04 Pistons is the first one you go to, right? Because you're always gonna, you know what you think, you know what you look at. You look at teams that won a championship without a dominant 20, 30-point scorer, right? So the Pistons, the 04 new bad boy Pistons, and the old bad boy Pistons, or teams that come to mind, right? Guys that can cook off the bench. A guy like Rodman, who was full of intangibles, right? Guy like Lambier, another one. It's funny because I see memes with them calling the Pistons a big 3 with Lambier. I'm like, whoa! I thought you guys said Lambier was nobody. Now he's part of a big 3. I mean, the Celtics, even the Celtics teams, the one where Larry was not scoring 30 yet, rife with intangibles. Portland, that Portland team, very, you look at Bill Walton's stats. Bill Walton led the team with 18 points a game, right? They had a bunch of guys chipping in to get 15, 16, right? So the conventional wisdom says the team with the number 1, which is so funny because Jordan, I think, was one of the first people was he the first player to win a scoring title and lead and win a championship? It might. I'm not sure.
I think Kareem did it.
Kareem did it, and he might have been that Jordan was the first player since Kareem, and I believe he won the
Did
the
Wilt
scoring
not do it?
title on those.
No, Wilt
Say
didn't
again?
do it. Wilt
I was
didn't
like,
do it.
did Will not do it in 60? What was it?
No,
No,
no, no,
Wilt.
because Will's two championships, he went to the Russell style. This is one thing I always say about Will. People don't understand. Like when he went to the Russell style, when he took Alex Hanneman advice and he said, "Look, see what this guy's doing? He's concentrating more on facilitating and backline defense. You're never gonna win until you start making the most of your teammates. It's not. We don't need you to." And mind you, when they got Billy Cunningham and Hal Greer and Chet Walker, they were and Lucius Daxter, they were able to win in dominant fashion. That's why I always say, look at Will's career in a conundrum. Like he was the dominant scorer and never won. He scaled it back and then he won. And again, yeah, you're talking about when your center is leading your team and I look, some of these Denver teams, really, these Denver teams, rife with intangible, you know. So
Yeah.
I mean, like to say intangibles don't matter, and again, that was that was my personal feelings, but I did think that Johnny did a great job of explaining
Sturdy,
his
where are
side.
you? Sturdy, where are you?
Well, hey,
Uh,
this is the thing here. We're not going to debate it right now,
I
but
know.
I will set that up. If Sturdy's
Yeah, I
down,
mean, you know what it is, bro. You know what it is. So we're not debating right now, but we could damn sure do a wrestling promo.
yeah,
Sometimes you gotta hype debates up wrestling style, man. It's Monday Night Raw. It's not the PLE. It's not the pay-per-view. So you got to set it up somehow.
no, that's
Obviously, what
that is a great that is a great point, though. I mean, a lot of these here. Sturdy, you want me to send? You can't click on the link in our chat. I will send it to you in Discord, Sturdy.
Yeah, I sent it in mine as well. Hold on to make sure that I understand.
Yeah.
Al Horford time with Golden State.
Hey, what up, CW? It seems like me and CW had talked, all week, and I know because he's been at his conference in the home of the GOAT.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all?
Yo, how's the food down there in Wilmington, man? I heard it was some spots there. I've been to Wilmington a few times, but yeah, he was in the home of the GOAT. God, in case you need to know.
Yeah.
Cleveland?
Not Sprint.
Sturdy, I went ahead and sent that to you, brother, in our private chat in Discord. But hey, CW, welcome, man. CW, after the show, dude, stick around for. I just wanted to run a couple things by you for like a couple minutes, if you could.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. But yeah, CW, we were kicking around, and Sturdy actually got the trivia question. But I
Who
did.
was it, by the way? Who was it, by the way? I was trying to Google myself.
Sturdy, are you on King Rose channel or Lights Out?
Hold on,
He might be on King Rose
I'm
channel.
having some issues.
Oh
Here
yeah,
we
so
go.
I posted it in our chat here in Lights Out. Sturdy.
Yeah, he might
Oh,
be on
did
King
you
Rose
co-stream
channel.
about C-Dub?
Yeah. I'm streaming on my channel.
Then he might be watching in your side. I don't know. So
Let me see.
Okay. But it was 2018 LeBron CW versus the Knicks or the Celtics rather.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the
most
Thieves.
turnovers?
Oh, that one. Okay. The one where they played Young Tatum and Young Brown and Clipper Rozier.
I sent you the wrong link.
I mean, Terry Rozier.
Hold on. What
Funny.
did I write? I think
Hold on,
you
let me
sure
come.
are.
Let me leave out real quick because I can't. I'm having some audio issues.
Hold on. Sturdy.
Oh,
just
Travis,
get into my channel.
you stay sending the wrong link, man. You gotta clear out your copy and paste history, bro.
I don't know. No, I it's weird because I had
It should start with a 6-7, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, Sturdy, just
Yep.
literally go into my channel here, bro. And click on my chat. Give me that.
Yeah, sometimes you know what this is, and please look, guys, like and subscribe to all our channels, man.
Yes.
We're trying to build up a little community, man. Look, we don't go against nobody. We all collab. I think even those of us that disagree, it's the disagreements that brought me and Trav like closer, right?
Yes.
Me and Trav had a little rivalry going on, and it's all good, man. I need you to get your boy King. You need to get your boy King. Well, I know he's on the competing um platform right now. But some collabs would be nice, man.
No, yeah, honestly, we talked yesterday a little bit after the debate because he was supposed to show up and be a judge, right? And
Uh-huh.
we talked. I mean, he's like, "Oh, sorry, I missed it," but I was like, "Hey, man, we need to collab more often because you're too valuable to be in an echo chamber the entire time." And so,
Diversify your stocks and bonds, man.
yes,
Diversification. What my man Genius said on James Chappelle? Diversify. When they was on the Chappelle show, he was talking about diversify the stocks and bonds. Remember that Wu-Tang financial skit they did? It was funny. I mean,
hell yeah.
but no, yeah, for real. I mean, again, it's funny because I wanted what's the name up there just to give me smoke about my Knicks. Y'all never give me smoke about my Knicks, man. Y'all do it in a different. I'm like, look, this is the best Knicks team since the Ewan era, man. Let's go. But I'm still thinking about some underrated teams because, like I said, teams is my thing, man. Because that's the thing, right? I really feel that. I really think, that a GOAT should lead a bunch of good teams. Like that's one thing I look at my GOAT list. What was his best team, and how many of those great teams did he lead? Because people want to say, "Oh, he had good teams." No. A GOAT earns a good team. Like I said, there's ingredients into building a roster. So if you're a great player, it's what you make out of the role players around you because. You can't. These all-star teams don't work, and they didn't They didn't put together all-star teams like that for a reason. Some Wilt lucked up into guys like Cunningham and Chet and Hal Greer and all, and that finally became his supporting cast. He needed to finally get past the Celtics. So, obviously, them Celtics teams were just machines.
Ro, you think Charles Smith was the best player on the '93 Knicks?
Oh yeah, this is Woodage, bro. Look, come on, man. That's one of the worst moments of my life. And Woodage, the Bull. See, that's why I say Woodage is a true blue Bulls fan. Because outside of the Jordan era, the Bulls have not given you nothing but a year or two of Elton Brand, and then the
They
D
gave you an
Rose.
MVP. What are you talking about? Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, what about
what?
the 2010s? How about those?
See, there's one thing. All right, I don't. The Knicks had an MVP in Willis Reed, and I wasn't even born yet. Right. Outside of that, I don't think we had an MVP. We've had MVP caliber. We've had a couple scoring champions. Right. Do you really get that excited about an MVP on your team? You want the shit, right?
I'm stoked about that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Listen. I mean, look. You know how it's crazy. We don't have a lot of team fans no more. Now we got guys that are loyal to players, which is kind of crazy. Like you see my man C-Dub has stuck with some bullshit years with the Spurs, right? So they got gifted the big Wembanyama kid. So,
Hey, it was hard to say.
Guys don't go through the lean years, bro. We from that era where, yeah, you like the front of the jersey, and if you got to go through some rebuilding years, then you do.
Yeah. Sturdy, I don't know what's going on, man. Like I'm okay. Full transparency, this is not my computer, so I can't log into the Discord. I copied the link. Yeah, if someone wants the ticket to whatever channel, because he's obviously not watching it through this page here. If you guys want to
tell us what channel you at. Because, as a matter of fact, I could have sent it to you through Discord myself, man. Where we at?
Yeah,
30. I think. Let's see.
Hook him up. Rap God says Knicks fans or Knicks as a franchise are more successful than the Bulls. Are they?
No.
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 That's a hot take.
Do they maybe making more money from that?
Yeah, no, you're right about that, Rap God. They're CW, they're financially, right? I mean,
yeah, in terms of financial wise, yeah, they are.
But yes,
and not overall.
But yeah, as far as winning,
as far as championships go, I don't think so. But in terms of money, yeah.
Yeah, like they're win, lose, or draw. The fans are faithful, right? It's the Big Apple. It's the biggest market in the US, so
Yeah, man. And I always say this about the Knicks, man. Y'all, a lot of y'all basketball fans can't understand it because we're a football franchise. We are a football type franchise. Like anybody you guys go. When last time any of y'all been to a football game?
Last year.
About
Who
to
you gonna see?
go in October 12th.
You gonna see the Panthers, T-Dub?
Panthers and
Or you going?
Cowboys. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
I
you a
want to
Cowboy
see.
fan too?
No. My wife.
Oh,
That's her birthday, so that's gonna be her
okay.
birthday.
Yeah,
present.
listen.
I want to see Hawks
Yeah.
Niners.
Hawks and Niners. Okay, up in San Fran. But you see the vibe outside of a football stadium, right? Everybody's barbecuing, tailgating, drinking their beer. You got that. That's what the Knicks are in a basketball arena. The Knicks have a football. So anytime you see the Knicks during the playoffs, when you know we had a long playoff drought, do these big tailgating. It's like, bro, it's only 19,000 people, but they are like literally 100,000 Knicks fans wanting to see what's going on. So we got a big tailgate party in the middle of Manhattan. We're not throwing parades. It looks like one because we're so deep. So I mean, listen, that's the next thing I'm going to get, right? Because we're gonna be lit by game one, and as soon as we go on a 5-10 game winning streak, you're gonna be seeing this shit right on the street. This is what it goes down, man. But I'm with for the smoke.
Is
The most
this y'all's
underrated
year
team.
though? Is this y'all's year?
I think so. I think
This
so,
y'all's
man.
year?
I think
Hey,
so.
I
think
said
all the
I
people-
said it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Knicks and Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's gonna be Knicks and Cavs. Knicks and
Okay.
Cavs.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to the late great Connie Hawkins. I got it. Shout out to the late great Connie Hawkins, because here's another one of these guys that was Jordan before Jordan, like one of the guys that old heads will tell you was Jordan before Jordan, and he lost 7 years of his career due to being unfairly implicated in a point shaving scandal. That
Mhm.
here's the thing, right? He was convicted of he wasn't even convicted, but he was implicated, and he was a freshman. You couldn't even play on the team. So how was he point shaving when he couldn't even play? And he got blackballed from the NBA for about 7 years. So shout out to the late great Connie Hawkins, one of these underrated goats, because you didn't see exactly what he could do in his prime in the NBA. When he did get there, he was damn near MVP as a 26-year-old rookie. So
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean,
yeah, he was the Phoenix Suns original franchise player as well.
well, let me get your take on this, CW. What are your, not maybe like what you think are the best teams ever, but like what, because we all give our takes, right? What are your couple of your favorite teams of all time by year?
Favorite teams. Let me think. Of course I'm a Spurs fan, so
Gross.
I'm gonna say a year that I always loved the 03. I love when Manu finally became like because he was fun to watch. Those years. I'm gonna say the 95 Orlando Magic. I thought
nice. Okay.
I thought they were really fun to watch. Penny and Shaq, Nick Anderson, those guys. And I didn't mind that Jordan lost that year because I thought they were good enough to have beaten them, and I thought Shaq might have got him a chip that year, but Hakeem said otherwise.
Shaq would be top 5 if he did that.
Yeah, if he won that one, he would have. Yeah, that would pushed him over the top. I'm trying to think of any more teams. I like that 2011 Dallas team. Really going back and watching some of that, they were a fun team to watch.
Yeah,
and I would say KD, Russ, and Harden's OKC teams were really fun, and even the KG.
We had 2 years together, 2-3 good years together though.
OKC.
Yeah, because Harden was drafted in 09-10. About 2012. That was his last year.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they got to the finals. Remember, they traded him to Houston after 2012 season.
Yeah, but I just thought they were even when they had Jeff Green, I thought they were a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Remember Run CMC? Now, they only had 2 or 3 years together too. They wound up trading Nick Richmond for Billy Owens. But Run CMC, that was fun.
97 bullets with Weber, Howard Strickland, and George Mirasan, right?
Oh, yes. Ron Strickland. Shout out to Ron Strickland.
Oh, geez.
George
Shout out to
Muresan.
that
I
team having
forget.
Weber and Howard.
Oh, 93 Hornets is a good one too.
Yeah.
You know, let's do the what's the what if team? Look at that team, the Pacers team from Malice in the Palace. So obviously we know that team was blown. You had
with Jermaine
Steven
O'Neal.
Jackson and Ron Artest. You had Jermaine O'Neal. Reggie was still on that team. Did they have Jalen Rose? I think.
I don't think so.
Oh,
Jalen
okay.
Rose.
But they was really stacked at wing. They really played defense. And that was supposed to be Reggie's best chance at a chip. And the whole Malice in the Palace thing kind
Was
of
that
messed it
04?
up. That was 04, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. Was it 04 or was it 05?
I don't know, because I think Jalen Rose was on the
November
Raptors last
19th,
time.
2004.
2004.
So
I
if
thought I
it
was
was
still in college.
2004, then it was 2004, then the suspensions would have hurt the position as well. I know Wallace didn't get the whole year, but I know Meta and Steven Jackson got the whole year. But I'm trying to think. But yeah, I really think that. Oh, yeah, it might have been. It might have been
Let
04.
me see if I can. Where's the link? Let me get the link.
I put the link in the chat again. I'll send it to you first, or you can, if somebody wants to send it to your boy
Sturdy, go to
Sturdy.
lights out. Go to lights out.
Yeah, we are streaming to multiple channels here, Sturdy.
Yeah, because for some reason I can't find a link to share.
What? Let's see. Interesting. Yeah, because everyone can see it in the chat, right?
Yeah, I can see everything. So let me copy. Let me copy your link. And see
Yeah, copy them in there. We got the 97 Hawks. Yeah. All these iterations, right, were like you have so many great players, and a lot of it was for like maybe just 1 or 2 years, right? That Pacers team. Yeah. What about like if some of these dynasties were out of the way?
The 2000s Jazz, they
Maybe
were
the 90s. Maybe the 90s Jazz have 2 or 3 rings, right? Like maybe.
No, they're not getting rings at
You
the
don't think
Bulls.
so?
No.
Okay.
So if the Bulls weren't in the finals, they it wouldn't.
Because you don't see 20-point scorers.
Oh, what's up, Sturdy?
There's Sturdy. Finally, man. What the hell, man?
No, yeah, man, that was weird. But I will make it short and sweet. The topic for next week's show: what archetype of player is the most impactful for the game of basketball? I think
That's a good topic.
Write that down right now. Awesome. Okay. Deal.
And me personally, I just like when it comes like the Kareem disrespect is just like I already accepted for what it is. It's just the perception of the 70s. The perception of the 70s of the NBA is not going to give its proper respect or attention because of
the 70s were trash, bro.
Man, come on now.
Even now,
the 70s were
now,
trash.
Like even now, as you can see Dub and Travis, as you can see, just by me mentioning the 70s, guys can't hold it, can't have decorum. They're like you have to burst out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't say anything negative. See,
the 70s were garbage.
As you can
it
see,
wasn't real hoops.
It has this type of reaction. That is a byproduct of the misrepresentation of that decade. So, but I don't. That's why I don't go back and forth. That's why I don't go back and forth with people about the omission of Kareem. Because if anyone who's a true student of the game that appreciate greatness regardless of error, you will understand why a lot of people consider him one of the greatest, if not arguably the greatest basketball player of all time.
He's one of the greatest, not the greatest.
But as you can see, Travis, I'm just talking in generality, and yet you can see it just sparks, I don't know, uncontrollable discord. I don't know what it is, man.
The reason
I didn't make a single basketball take. All I did, I came up here, I greeted the fellas, and I did my part, which was, you said, answer the trivia questions, which is easy to find out. I didn't have multiple attempts to do. You know what I'm saying? But I can let you know how I found out momentarily. But I just want to give my topic for next week's show and chip into the conversation of the show. That's what I pretty much want to do.
No,
But
awesome.
I just but like but like going like after I take care of some personal things, like it's one of the many topics I'm gonna put on my show. Just provide insight to greatness, because like
Oh, dude, I
basketball.
have no problem with someone saying Kareem's the GOAT. In fact, I have. If someone wants
No,
to say he's the GOAT, I won't argue that.
No, but that's what it is, Trav. And Trav, you know, I've been saying this like for months.
Yeah,
Damn near
definitely.
years.
he has
Like
no
you don't
GOAT
have
case.
to. Like you don't
he
have
does. He
like
definitely does.
what basketball discourse has become. Like it came like such a hot take cesspool. Like instead of just appreciating the essence and trying to learn the greatness of players and teams and coaches, it has to be opinionated. It has to be a downplay to some degree. And me personally, I just don't give that type of energy no more. I just appreciate what these great women, men and women athletes that sacrifice their time to put on for us as fans.
Hey, that's why you
But
belong right here,
it's
Sturdy.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
See, Sturdy. Yeah, I just
No. Even with Ro do the same thing. Like when he be selective with the type of context you want to use. But like I say the same thing, bro. Like for some reason, Travis is like people just want to take things for what it is, bro.
That's true.
Team accomplishment is team accomplishment. Individual contribution. But for some reason, I don't know what happened. It started getting mixed up down the line. Me personally, I have an interesting theory, but that's for an interesting video.
I don't hate Kareem because he played in the 70s. I don't
Beat
I,
that man.
I don't hate Kareem because he played in the 70s. Even though I think the
You
70s
know-
was a even I do think the 70s was a trash era, the worst era of basketball.
Why
I
was
don't
it trash though? What was it? What was trash about?
But the reason I'm so mad at Kareem, he didn't dominate that era like he was supposed to. He didn't.
And he because he didn't win multiple championships in
Yes.
the era.
Bro, that was the
and
weakest
you know
era
what
of
kills me? Hold up.
superstars
You get what
in
I'm
NBA
saying?
history.
You get what I'm saying?
No, it
You know what I'm
wasn't.
saying, Travis?
Okay,
Yes,
Travis,
it was.
you know what I'm saying?
I got you, third. I got you, third.
See, Dub. But like
What's
that's
up?
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
Sturdy, what did I say
why
that was
can't-
not true?
Hold
no,
on.
but I'm
hold on.
saying my only question is why can't we as basketball fans just accept things for what they are? I didn't know coming up when people were teaching me about the game of basketball. The first day, one-on-one, basketball one-on-one, it's a team game. So
Mhm.
understanding that, just like every team game, I separate the team accomplishments from the individual player contribution. But it's a mix-up in basketball discourse for some reason. Even now, even a brother like King Rowe, who knows a bunch of history, still do the same thing. But it's like I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
explain
But
that, sir.
what it is.
But explain that,
Kareem
sir.
played on good
It is what
teams.
it
See,
is.
though.
I'm good for. Hold on. Yeah, no, you called me out, though, sir. Explain that. What exactly do I do? Because actually, I think I try to keep it fair and balanced, and I really don't. Like my takes are, I am opinionated, right? I am strong and opinionated, but I do try to be balanced. And one thing I don't do is sit there and downgrade an era, even to this era, which I'm critical of the style and the too many threes and the lack of kind of the lack of physical defense. I do appreciate the nuances of the game, and I do appreciate the talent level in the game, right? So I've always approached looking at all-time basketball based on knowing, okay, here, guess what? The NBA contain the best players in the world, and they can contain the best basketball in the world. So whoever was at top, the best player or the best teams, I give them the utmost respect. If you won 67 games in the 70s, then that's a great thing.
Yeah,
right?
that's great. But
No,
See,
my,
to answer your question, Ro.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not referring to any. I didn't infer nor imply or say that you downplay errors. I said specifically that you are selective with your context. So here's how nice what I am with it, Ro. I'm gonna answer your question and bring it back to the topic of the video. So how you are selective with your context, just recently and early in the stream, you tried to allude to that a team success is dependent on one player by two statements that you made. One statement you said, well, GOATs, like you referring to LeBron, they typically have a certain level of team. You can make your guys better, right? When reality, and that's why I told you in our debate when we had the Bulls versus Celtics, why I told you other streams, you and I both know it takes multiple factors outside of one player, no matter how great they are, to become a all-time great team. You know,
But they're
schemes, personnel fit, chemistry, so, you know, other important things that people like to glance out. And then you double
but
down on that, and you double down on it. I'm just answering Rose's question. You double down it by just saying by just answering Scott's question, which was, because he did not win multiple championships in the 70s.
Okay.
Now, hold on. Like that's why I interrupted and said, you see what I mean, CW? We all
Okay.
know basketball is a 5-on-5 sport. I
bro,
would never just say a player won a championship. That's inaccurate.
Okay,
bro,
Sturge. So
bro.
I think here's the thing.
Can I
I think
respond to Sturdy? Can I respond to Sturdy?
go
No,
ahead.
my fault,
You can address me, but go ahead.
my fault. I just want to land my
The
plane.
the re- the re- the reason
Scott,
okay.
I just want to land my plane. So that's why you have a brother like me who, when you show me something dope, regardless of era, I think it's dope. So like when Travis he didn't ask me yet, but my answer would be an underrated team all time. I always say the '80s Bucks, in particular '83 Bucks. We're talking about a team who had an inverted style of offense. They was one of the first teams to actually run their offense through the guards in the post and have the bigs cut through the lane to give them some spacing. They were one of the most, and be elite defensively as well. Their problem was they couldn't beat all-time teams of that time. Like the one time they actually beat the Celtics, they end up running to the '83 Sixers. So like that's the answer to Travis' question. But you notice how like when I describe that team briefly, I don't just mention Sidney Moncrief. I go to the tactics. I go to the unique thing about that team.
No.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great
Can I respond to Sturdy?
Before you go ahead, real quick, please. I want to, because I was addressed, and I know. But go ahead.
I would love to. I'll forget the Kareem debate. I would just love to debate Sturdy on the whole '70s because that era
That's
was
a good
trash.
debate. Then that's a good debate. Matter of fact,
that era was trash. That was the first time, and I'm gonna give you the fact that was the only decade that had 0 dynasties. They had both
What does that
decades
mean?
had.
Isn't that a good thing though?
That's a good
No,
thing.
it's not a
Basketball was
good
really
thing.
good. Why is that not a good thing?
What does
Because
that mean?
Because Curry, there were teams that were winning championships that didn't have superstars on the team. Like, bro, no.
Name one.
Name one.
Yeah.
Probably like the Bullets or the Supersonics.
Okay. Do you understand
The Supersonics.
Okay, so the Supersonics were able to win with Dennis Johnson.
Dennis Johnson's
Gus
not a
Williams.
superstar.
It's funny because my patient, I had a
They were a good
patient.
team, though. They were a good team.
I had a patient that was actually childhood friends with Gus Williams, right? And he just passed away last year. See, sometimes you got to understand, Scott. This is the problem. And I want to address what Sturdy is saying because Sturdy, I think you might have misheard me because one of the first things I said when I jumped in, I had to, I was chasing my son around. My son is a very rambunctious little 21 month old, right? And we ate lunch and all this. But anyway, I jumped in. The first thing I said was, Travis is speaking about role players, my dog. And I'm like this. I said, it's like cooking a good, cooking a good dish. The main course is the main course. Those are your superstars. But if you don't use the right seasoning, and you don't like, if you go to get discount, I don't know, like Lowry. Lowry's. Us black folk over. So the Spanish folk know adobo. Right? Don't get the little bootleg sazon. Get adobo. Get the Goya brand. Get the Goya beans. Whatever. Understand what I'm saying? Like that's what makes a good team great. So no, I did not say when I said Kareem only won the one championship in the '70s. I was basically jumping in on what I knew that what's the name would say, what Scott would say, and then he came down, doubled down on the saying there were no dynasty. Now I don't think that's a bad thing. So I think when we see dynasties and we think that's the standard of NBA basketball. It's not necessarily the standard. It's very hard to go back to back.
Bro, if he believes that a decade is marked by a dynasty, a decade is marked by a team who wins without no superstar, that's him. That if he wants to believe the 70s for those reasons, if he want to believe the 70s is trash for that reason, that's cool.
There's more reasons. There are more reasons.
All I ask is be more consistent. If you want to punish the 70s for having a team to win a championship without a quote-unquote superstar, do the same for the 2000s. with the 04
Yeah.
Pistons. If you gonna do the
04
same,
Pistons.
I was gonna bring that up. Yep.
and respectfully, the 2014 Spurs, and that's why I
Yes.
like to talk about the basketball for what it is. The 2014 Spurs, yes, they had Tim Duncan, yes, they had Kawhi, Tony
they're all
Parker,
at their
Ginobili. They were not produced at a superstar level that specific year, but they
They
were
sure weren't.
extremely dominant. But they were extremely dominant because
Sure
of
weren't.
how they played. I'm not going to say that team is lesser, or I'm not going to downplay that team at all because they don't have a quote unquote player that's produced at a superstar level. Like last time I checked, and I said this to many people on different platforms, the mark of a great team is how they play together, not just
Exactly.
one player.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right,
Start-
guys.
start-
Really fast. What I'm going to say here before we get off the rails too much. Great points to everyone. Armani Viz. Recently, I've come across his content. Right? Maybe I'm just late to the game.
He's a clown.
Great content. Has puts out videos. I'm really glad that he is
He's a
doing it
clown.
here right now.
He is a clown.
His comment is why certain channels said, dude, whoever says whatever channel said that is obviously maybe just
Yes.
like a Braun Pole rider.
Yes, the story knows his
is one of the
knowledge.
more knowledgeable people.
Yeah, story
Whoever come
story
across.
knows his knowledge.
I rarely want smoke with Sturdy, and so
But I want smoke with Sturdy.
Sure.
And me and Sturdy go at it on what's the name, man. We go at it in Discord backstage. So we go at it publicly, and again, at the end of the day, when you do a good debater like me, look, I came on here and tore Travis up. Travis had a lot more respect for me after that, right? Travis beat me, and I got a lot of respect for Travis. Sometimes you got to take an L. Look, it's just like the fight we just had a couple of weeks in the Pacquiao fight, right? Two good fighters fight in the ring. They gain respect for each other. You might have thought, oh, this guy's easy work, and then he comes out, he brings out the best in you. You know what I'm saying? So,
Sturdy, do you want to debate that the 70s were a good decade?
Like I said,
Or at least respectable.
I'm not,
I'll take it. I'll take
like
it.
I said, I'm not entertaining any divisive topics. I have no problem debating, as I did on this platform against Kings Road. But that topic that we did, we were highlighting the greatness of teams. We were highlighting the greatness of something, or we do conceptual. I'm not entertaining decisive topics, bro. Like,
let me throw a monkey wrench. Hold on, Scott. Let me throw a monkey wrench in your logic, right? Based on a ridiculous, idiotic meme, and of course, if I say the source of where I saw that meme, I seen it in the Go James Kingdom Facebook group, right? So it said Jordan was able to dominate in the 90s against plumbers and trash bums.
I don't agree with the Johnny on that.
Okay, all right. I'm just talking. I don't know whether you agree with it or not. People will say that the 90s were trash because he dominated plumbers and trash bums. And then when he came to 03 and he played against real players, he couldn't do anything.
No, because Jordan was out of his.
Scott, I'm not saying this is your take. I'm just saying this is what the meme said. Now here's the stupidity in that logic, and I'm gonna take it back 20 years prior. The stupidity in that logic is how many players were in the league in the 90s when Jordan was supposedly dominating. They were still in the league in 2003. Matter of fact, some of them were even better, or they got worse, so they were old. There's the same players that he supposedly like Garnett. If Garnett was this new age player, why didn't he come in the league and dominate right away? Why didn't Kobe? Jordan played against Kobe in the All-Star game. Why didn't he come in and dominate right away? It's the new age that is new. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. Hold on, Scott. It's the same thing.
I understand.
Scott, please listen. I'm not playing you. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give you a chance to rebut. It's the same thing with the 70s. You said it when those superstars in the 70s, and yes, the Rick Barrys in other world, they got old by the. But George Iceman was winning. George Iceman was winning at the end of the 70s. He was winning scoring titles, and he was winning them in the 80s as well. Dr. J was great in the 70s. He was great in the 80s.
Shut up, Vince.
Moses Malone was great in the 70s and great in the 80s. So the guys that you were saying were trash, then you're telling me the 80s by extension were trash.
No, the 80s were way better.
So wait, at what point? Because Larry Bird.
No, because it had way better talent, way better defender. It had unlike the 70s, had a great conference.
Hold on, but do you understand that Coop Scoop started his career in '77?
Yes. What?
Like, so if you're talking about great defenders, right? So some of these great defenders, like Moncrief was a rookie with Magic. Some of these guys started their career, they played in the '70s. You don't tell me all of a sudden, some of these, what I'm
But
telling
that's a
you,
dumb
Scott, hold
point
on.
though.
But
That's a
Scott,
dumb
what, no,
point.
it's not a dumb point. But Scott, what I'm telling you is some of these stars were the same guys in the '70s and they were just a little bit older.
But yeah, that's like me saying Giannis was a 2010s player, even though he played in the 2010s. No, he's gonna remember as a 2020s player. He won't
You know he
remember.
won MVPs in the 2020s though, right?
Well,
And
nah,
You
it's
know he put up 25 and
he's gonna be remembered for both. It's like the Shaq thing.
Yeah.
Like there's some players, there's just
Okay,
some players that like their timeline just extend past different decades.
okay,
That's all
KG
that
then.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
KG's prime didn't hit until the 2000s. So just because you were drafted in a certain era does not mean you're in your prime.
You
No, it
realize
depends.
KG,
It's case by case. So
was
in
a superstar by '99?
What?
So yeah, it's a case by case. So Scott, it's a case by case. It's not just one size fit all. Because some players
I know.
running.
I know.
Some players they in this case for Giannis, he didn't get drafted in the end of the 2010s. He got drafted in the middle of the 2010s. Like the
Actually,
not
yeah,
even
early
beginning,
2010s,
the beginning,
2013.
early middle. Yeah, 2013, 2014, like early mid, however you want to say that. That's like at least 6 years in the 2010s. That's what I'm saying. Similar to Shaq, like Shaq got drafted in '92. That's like 7 years in the '90s.
Yeah,
Thank
Shaq
you.
7 years in the '90s.
Aren't the only
Yeah,
top 10 players ever that we think-
I agree. But there's certain, but when we're part of, oh, these guys won the '70s, yes, but are they remembered for what they did in the '70s or what they did in the '80s, or when did they
See,
prime?
this is the
For
point.
me,
If they were
no,
superstars in the
Hold on.
for me,
What about
for
Jordan?
me,
So
for me,
Jordan,
Yeah.
just a
yeah,
90s
Jordan's
player?
at Jordan's at '80s player because his prime hit. So yes, Will can bring some of these players, but did their
Yeah,
prime
he's both.
hit?
Yeah, he's both.
Really,
Why
the
can't
only
he be
Yes.
players
both?
that we consider top
Yeah,
10
Jordan is both because his prime hit.
Well,
I don't
like,
really.
yeah, the only
'cause his
players
prime
that we
hit.
can
No.
name outside
I'll
of
give you another example. Scott. Like a guy like Tim Duncan. You know, Tim Duncan
I was about to say
got
that.
drafted late in the '90s. He was a high quality player
I
from
know.
the beginning. So
I
no.
know.
I'm saying what I'm simply saying is, Scott, is a case by case basis. It
I
depends
know.
on one, when you was drafted. Also, number two, how good of a player you was at that time. So if someone wants to say Tim Duncan is a '90s and a 2000s and a 2010s player, they can say that because
Yeah.
he's proven to be an all-big caliber player in all three of those decades.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But for the
Scott,
Summit,
you would have been better. You would have been better off attacking the style of play rather than the quality of the players and the quality. And
bro,
again,
just watch Sunday's basketball, bro.
so
It's not it.
I
Bro.
mean, okay, so we're watching in an era where television production is not at a premium, right? We don't have high definition anything until 2000, right? But even then, like even when you go back and look, they got the thing is the great part about it is they're remastering a lot of film, and the technology is able to remaster a lot of, so it will look more appealing, I guess. Some of these tapes when the technology hits and they're going back to the '80s and they're remastering games, making it look more visually. I mean, bro, I'm down here in Brazil, man. Some of the hotels I'm staying in, they got the old school TVs. It's a mind warp, right? It's a mind warp. Some of these hotels are bringing in more, bringing in the smart TVs. When you go back to what we were watching in the '80s, bro, the big two. Motherfucker, if you don't, Scott, I'm sorry, you don't remember the big ass TV that sat on, is like furniture. You don't remember that. I remember that. I'm young enough to remember that. But as I was coming on, the TVs that didn't sit on the floor, TVs you could put on a stand and the dresser or whatever came in. But even going back to watch those TVs, it's like night and day. So just remember that part. Telling me to watch the game,
Yeah.
it's not fair. Because these
Yes,
guys were
I
amazing.
know. But I want to respond
Again,
I want to respond to Sturdy's point about how basketball is, yes, and I agree. Basketball, yes, has become a hot take cesspool. Become a hot take cesspool. And a lot of basketball, let's be real, it's narratives. But yes, but when I look at the '70s and I look at the teams, I'm like, Kareem, bro, you're not dominating this. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stand like this trash era of basketball. You're not dominating like you're not supposed to dominate. That's why it's so hard to read to put Wilt in the top in the top 5 because sure we got swept by Dolph Chase. Like I get it. Basketball's a team sport. I get
Dolph
it.
Chase is the GOAT.
But
No,
basketball
no.
and I get it, story. Basketball is a team sport. But if LeBron got swept by the Bucks or he missed the playoffs in his prime, bro,
Dude, Jeremiah,
yeah,
Dolph Chase is a top 5 player of all time.
no,
I do want to say this, Scott. So let me ask you a fair question first. How much time do you spend investigating and researching the decade of the 70s?
a lot.
Oh, okay, that's
And,
interesting. That's interesting.
So is Bill Walton.
very interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
and
I
when
mean, you know, Rick
and
Barry.
when there
Barry.
were times
I have Rick
Kareem's
Barry
dominance was
all
going to
time.
get challenged, Bill
Rick
that's when
Barry
Bill Walton
put
got
3
hurt.
sons. Rick Barry put 3 sons in the NBA. One of them was the white boy that won the slam
I
dunk
have-
contest.
I have Rick Barry at number 2 all time ranked.
And
I
I agree,
mean,
story. Basketball's a
Pistol-
team sport,
Bro,
but
pistol. See, I think
but-
you know what it is too, bro. I think if you were old enough, and I'm not old enough to watch Dr. J in his prime, but I'm old enough to know some guys that I came up playing basketball with, and they'll tell me what they saw in Dr. J. And then I look at the film, bro. Dr. J, there's not like Zach LaVine does a lot of amazing dunks. They'll tell you that Dr. J can do what Zach LaVine could do. And I mean, here's the thing about Dr. J versus Zach LaVine. He can go out there and get you 13, 14 boards. He can go out there and get you 6, 7 assists. And he would do whatever. And then, mind you, these guys played in the offseason on the blacktop. They played for money.
Do you have Connie Hawkins as a top 10 player of all time? I do.
I don't because, again, look at
no,
it.
it's
I mean,
not, Viz. No, it's not. It's not the most competitive.
But I shouted out to Hawk.
No, I don't know
again,
what you're talking about. The NBA had to split their players with the ABA.
Hawk,
No, it
where
wasn't. It
Hawk
was not
went
the
to
most
high school,
balanced
where
era
Hawk
of
went to high
basketball.
school was literally
that
walking
statement
distance from my
that you
house.
made, like the way you phrase that statement, Scott, that's inaccurate. The NBA did not have to split their players. That's
Let me
why
ask
I
you
like.
this, Scott.
But I'm
see,
saying,
but you know,
what I'm saying, maybe I worded it wrong, but what I'm saying is the best person in the ABA, like to say the 70s had the best basketball players in the world is an inaccurate statement. It was not the most balanced. The
Let me ask you a
ABA,
question, Scott, really fast here. So you mentioned, Scott, about maybe this wasn't the end all be all to your argument, but the whole there wasn't a dynasty in the 70s.
yeah,
Cool.
that's not the head.
But so for all intents and purposes, from 2020 till I'm gonna say at least the next 10 years, we're not gonna see. I don't think we'll see a back to back, but we're sure as hell not gonna see a three-peat. So it's not gonna be a dynasty.
Yeah.
Does that make it a trash decade?
Well, that was. Well, if you want to say that, that's fine. Well, you try and guys.
It's a yes or no question, Scott. Come on, bro.
No, because the talent's way better.
Oh, because the talent's way better.
Yes, it is. That wasn't that's just one of my points. That's not.
See, Scott, and this is the thing, and we're gonna do this debate, and I want you to do your homework on it because you just killed your own debate. You killed your own for purpose. The problem that you don't get, right? It's just like the way people judge the expansion era. They think that expansion, and I've said this many times. 30, listen to me. I've said this many times. The idea that expansion ruins the league is absolutely stupid. I think expansion actually helps the league. Now, I believe that the ABA, the formation of the ABA, actually helped the NBA. Because you know what came out of the ABA's formation? The 3-point line. The slam dunk contest was originated in the ABA. So, I mean, like the ABA was actually a league, a competing league that expanded into other markets, right? And this is what they're trying to do now. They're trying to make a Euro League or whatever to help, basically kind of be another pipeline in the G League and all that, right? We laugh at the G League, but the G League has actually helped the NBA because it does let talented players get a place to go if they don't hit on a team right away. And some of these guys might come and be good, even superstars potentially later on. The ABA brought a different, like the ABA was more the street ball style that was frowned upon in the NBA. And those more street ball type players and guys that could go out and hit the 3-point shot. And it was something else that the ABA implement. Oh, they were counting steals and blocks in the ABA right away. The NBA didn't do that until the ABA made it seem like it was worth it to come steals a block. It was an ABA concept. So 3 years after the merger, they brought in a 3-point shot. These are things that push the game forward. And so to say, oh, well, the talent wasn't all in one place. Well, no, I actually think it's better because I think the ABA's formation made the NBA better. Now we have four-story franchises that merged over, came from the ABA, right? So that helped the league. But also, again, the concepts, the more street ball style, stuff like that. It actually helped the NBA go forward. But to just say it was a trash era.
But what I'm saying is no other like top 5, top 10 player has had the privilege to have like, let's say LeBron, let's take LeBron for an example. LeBron will be getting, we all know LeBron gets cooked for because he played, in my opinion, in not a good conference. The East was not good at all.
So
But
look at this. Look at this.
Let's say
let
you
him
were,
finish, man. You let him finish.
Go ahead.
let's say guys like KD, Steph, Kawhi, the best players had to play in a separate league. Do you think people are going to respect LeBron being the best player and for like 10 straight years the same way as he did when guys like KD, Steph, Kawhi did play? No.
No,
So
what
yes,
I'm saying,
question.
it just hold on. It depends on how the NBA formats it, because in other sports, when they have different leagues or other elite talent there, people let that slide when they let the other elite talent compete against one another, i.e. soccer, sometimes baseball. And I'm not gonna go to independent sport, I'm just stick with team sports. They don't be like, oh, because Ronaldo's in Real Madrid and this dude is in Germany, he's not the best. No, because they have formats where they play against one another at some point. But a lot of people don't know. That the NBA and the ABA had a bunch of scrimmages. They had over 100 games against each other during that entire decade. But because the NBA then seized the rights to the television rights of the ABA, because the NBA also had a bunch of lawsuits being settled in the 70s, that decade is not properly highlighted as it should. And most importantly, Scott, I just want to finish it with this totally, bro. It's okay to compare and contrast. What makes it corny and diluted is it like I have to like add adjectives to certain errors or just take it for what it is. For example, I'm a fan of football. Football is my first sport. There's a bunch of compare and contrast, different errors, but you know what don't happen? These players, these medias, these coaches, they don't publicly bash the product. They just say it for what it is. Back in the day, the rules like this, there's a lot of players be physical. They don't be like, oh, because they allow the rule to be physical, these niggas are soft and trash. You don't hear nobody saying no shit like that. They just take it for what it is. But for some reason, basketball discourse like you, like I described, it has to be a downplay to some degree instead of just taking it for
the
what it
reason
is.
I'm downplaying, the reason I'm
Roe is right.
downplaying.
Hold on, because Roe is right. Expansion, whether it was done in the 80s, 70s, and early 2000s or the 90s, it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just a transition thing. We add more players, we add more teams, we add more talent, and then here's the consequence of that. That's not a good or a bad thing.
Sturdy. I heard you say this before. Do you value
my fault. This last thing. The difference between how Kareem was judged for his performance back then versus now, like I said before, now is a hot take pool. Now you got to be hyperbolic. Now I have to some degree, disrespect professionals to get my point across. When back then they just took it for what it is. It's completely different way players are covered back then versus now. That's why back then the media and fans valued players' perception opinions more back then than opposed to now because the players had leverage. That's why despite Kareem missing the playoffs that year, the players, the peers, the niggas that played against them still voted him the best.
See, that's my point. That's my point, Sturdy. Kareem missed the playoffs in his prime. There has to be a certain.
Huh? That's what I'm saying. And that's
yes, I agree.
Everything I just said, he listened to 5 words and like
I agree. It should be hold against LeBron. It should be hold against LeBron that he missed the playoffs.
Yeah, but you just said he separated himself from Kareem though. You said there's no reason for Kareem to be considered a GOAT, but he separated himself he separated LeBron away from him because he played in the 70s and he missed the playoffs, but LeBron missed the playoffs playoffs in his prime,
he
but
did. But
somehow that doesn't. He's still top two on
those are just little parts of my argument. Like
insanity.
I haven't even get to the big stuff yet. I haven't even get to the big stuff yet. But
Okay,
yes,
well,
What's the big stuff? God damn it! What's the big stuff?
I get it.
what's the big stuff?
Hold
You
on,
don't want me to tell you that. You don't want me to tell you that. You don't
If we're
want me
gonna
to
spend time, waste our time on this bullshit. What's the big stuff?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Why?
I'm not gonna tell you
Hold on.
guys.
That's the problem. What I'm saying. That's the problem. If I'm talking about how great a player is, I'm talking about a player's legacy. Why am I starting with the quote unquote nitpicking little negative shit first?
Because we have to. We have
No,
to.
no one does
Yes,
that.
No,
When
no.
you go
You
to
start with the big stuff.
when you go to
You
any,
start.
hold on,
You start with the big stuff.
You have to hold them to the highest standard. It's gonna be unfair.
You start with the big stuff, and then you start
someone-
nitpicking the little things because you want to change their ranks.
You know what? And hold on. Let me say something real quick. Go ahead.
Real quick. I just want to say this. Like any team sport, any fucking sport, when you describe a player's legacy, you don't start with their negatives and nitpick. When someone asks me how great was Brady, I don't start with, well, he lost to the Giants and he wasn't really athletic. That's not what I start with. Like what?
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now get it back, Travis.
Hold on.
And I want to say something. Go ahead.
We all want to get to this is all great takes, and we're gonna set up these debates eventually, okay? But I want to watch some goddamn football right now. So we're gonna get everyone's last take here. You know what? Hawk was here, didn't get to, but Hawk, give me your favorite team of all time really fast.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Favorite team of all time.
Your favorite maybe team or underrated team all time.
My favorite team of all time? Hell nah. My favorite team. Yeah. My favorite team is going to be the 09 Lakers, man. But I'm biased.
There you go. Give me the 09 Nuggets.
Yeah, but the definitely a underrated team is the 08 Nuggets.
Yes. Great pick. Yeah, hold on. Lakers, great team to watch there.
08 Nuggets and the 01 Blazers.
I said that. I said the Blazers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know, Mo. I was in the comments.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, guys,
92. Yeah.
Great show. Listen,
Nobody talking about the Knicks, bro.
What we want to do is get these debates set up because I want to see all the smoke. I want all these things to come to a head and clash, rather than just us shouting because it's one mic and tough to maintain. But great takes from everyone: Hawk, Roe, CW, obviously Sturdy and Jeremiah. Great takes. Thanks for contributing here. CW, hang out for just a second after we end. I just want to ask you a couple things. Okay. And then, but hey guys, we're going to do this every single Sunday. We're going to chop it up. Sturdy actually won the trivia question. He picked our next week's topic, which is what'd you say, Sturdy? The amalgamation of a player.
I said what player archetype is the most dominant or impactful in the game of basketball.
Okay, I'm going to write
that
down.
Example,
the answer to that.
You got different
examples. Great topic.
You got I'm just giving a reference point of different archetypes. You got a point forward, you got a two-way big, you got whatever play style archetype that's what I'm referring to.
Okay. We'll do. You heard him, guys. We're going to tackle that next week. And if anybody, we have one debate also scheduled for Saturday. That's tentatively going to be between Jeremiah Skyer and Nick from NNB Sports. Are going to be debating what player is not greater but better, LeBron or Larry Bird. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see that.
Okay, I gotta see
and
that.
then if anybody else wants to hop in,
who is that? Road cousin?
NNB.
NNB Sports. No, but if anybody wants to,
NNB Sports, yeah.
If anybody wants to call anybody else and do a double header there, we can set that up as well.
I got to get Scott. I got it. Well, if Scott can do two, I don't know. Scott been foaming at the mouth for debate.
What happened to the Isaiah Thomas and Chris Paul, bro?
Yeah, we supposed to do it, but like I said, I want to make sure he's I want to make sure his homework is done before I debate him.
It's quite funny. It's quite funny how I hate Kareem. I'm the bad guy, but I defend Chris Paul to death. But you guys are some saying.
What does that have to do with Kareem, bro?
No.
Who said you hate Kareem?
No. When I said because when I was making my points about Kareem, how he missed the playoffs and all that, I was I was
because you're not consistent.
Yeah, because you said LeBron, and then you
not
said
called Kareem
how this,
hater, but you
Because
don't
you're
know what
not
you're talking about.
consistent. LeBron
you
missed
said
the playoffs just like Kareem did, but some reason and
When
then
I
you
try
said
to
yeah,
put
and
you
there's
said
no
that's
dynasty.
a small thing, but neither one. I mean,
Yeah,
one of them has a dynasty, the other one
I
doesn't.
just like I did
yeah,
Whatever.
we
Kareem.
got it. We got
But
it. We got it.
but to me, but
Damn,
yeah,
man.
and Kareem
Paul just did what
wasn't the
Scott just
best
did.
player on his dynasty.
Come on,
Kareem wasn't
bro.
the best player.
I'll tell you this.
Kareem
Kareem,
I'll
wasn't
tell
the
you
best.
this,
And
Young
Kareem
Scott.
and Kareem and
Young
Kareem,
Scott. Young Scott. I just want to. The last
Kareem
thing I'm
wasn't
gonna
the best
say.
player on his dynasty.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
All right, Young Scott. The last thing I'll tell you.
I just want to say one.
This is
Go ahead.
what he
I'll just
talking
say
about
one
when he
thing.
talk about
I'll
the
let
disrespect of the eras, bro. Just because you've played 10 plus years and then you get on the team with somebody and you let them take over as the best player, how does that penalize
he
you
was
from what you've accomplished?
It's
He was still a contributor.
to the
He
success.
was still a contributor.
unlike
He wasn't
because,
Tracy McGrady on the Spurs bench, bro.
I know.
Facts.
You think I'm an idiot?
I know.
I know this.
I know you
I
talking
know.
like it.
I know that. But Kareem was literally winning championships when he was not even a. He was
He was still a
Hey,
contributor.
basically a role
hey,
player.
He was still a
He was a
contributor.
role player.
Hey, Travis,
He
you
was a
see what
threat.
you have
Averaging like
started,
10
right?
points.
With
He was a
that
threat,
left frame of logic.
bro. He was a
But
threat, bro.
I take the blame
no,
for that.
yeah, he was a threat. But
Yes.
people
Okay.
forget Kareem stopped rebounding after like 81, 82, and his
Oh
defense
my
Oh,
got
so he
God.
got
worse.
0 rebounds. I got
Oh
you.
my
He
God.
averaged 25 rebounds in
Bro, this is like saying Wilt wasn't a contributor like that on the
I
Lakers.
never said Wilt wasn't a
I didn't
contributor.
say it was what
I
you
never
said.
said Kareem
I'm
wasn't
drawing.
a
It's called
contributor.
drawing a
You just
parallel. You can go
to
Google
draw
that
the
and figure out what it
parallel.
means.
Exactly.
I just want to respond to Sturdy's point about the whole nitpicking stuff.
Yeah, but
Unfortunately,
but again, here's the
I
problem,
just want to
bro.
respond
When
to
you
Sturdy.
when you
I want
start,
to respond to Sturdy.
when you start nitpicking people, you have to start with the big things. This is how we develop the top 10 in the first place, and then you go to the small things to move around what
Yes,
number they're going to be at. But you started with the small things and then said
I didn't
that
start
that's
with
not
the
even
small
the big thing.
things.
And you started with the small things about the 70s. You said that's the small things. That's the little things. That's
Yes,
not even the big problems. Okay, so what's the big problems? You still haven't stated that. We wasted all this time
we can talk
listening
about.
to you say
Oh,
this bullshit about the 70s, but you still ain't got your point off. What is the issue with the 70s, bro?
bro, there's so many
Yeah,
issues
we're
with
gonna
the
All right,
debate
70s.
it.
But
so we
there's
gonna
so many issues with
let's
the
talk
70s.
about
But
LeBron's era and the traveling and the carry and all that stuff
yes,
that they didn't call in the
I agree.
70s.
I hold that
Yeah.
across the board.
So wait,
But
hold on,
I
Scott. I have a
just
question
want
for you,
Hold
Scott.
on.
what? Can I
Scott,
respond?
how
I
can
want
you
to respond.
say that the 70s wasn't the greatest era when you literally had a man in Wilt Chamberlain who was racking up like 6 or 7 bodies in bed before each game?
Hey yo, bro. Hey, yo.
I want to respond. I want to respond to
Let's go.
Sturdy's point. I want to respond to Sturdy's point about the whole when he brought up Tom Brady and how about when people talk about Tom Brady, how
Go ahead, bro.
I'm trying to talk. When people talk about Tom Brady, they don't start with this like nitpicking. They start talk about how great he is. I had Kareem top 3, so obviously I think he's great. But what separates from him, what separates from Jordan and LeBron, to me, his peak, in my opinion, is not as good as LeBron or Jordan. He used to have the longevity, but LeBron surpassed that. And to me, what Kareem, I'm sorry, when he took a backseat to Magic, you want to win championship with Magic, I have no problem with that. But I have to put your rings into context, okay? I can't just say when you get 6 rings when you weren't the best
Hey,
player.
hey
When you
Scott.
weren't the best player on half of them.
Can we put in the context LeBron having all stars on his team in their prime? Does he not get penalized for that?
That's gonna hurt Kareem even more.
How they were organic. They were organic. He formed the team. They were organic. That was an organically grown team.
We got it.
Kareem went to that. Kareem went to that team before when Magic was in the high school.
I want to just add. I always want to leave on this, Scott. The problem with your debate, like you say, you got to start with the nitpicking, and that's probably a habit you learn hanging out with the Go James Kingdom crew, because that's what they do so much. No, seriously, that's what they do so much. They have to it's like what you're doing is you're now losing your credibility. For a judge like me, and if I'm up there judging your debate, the fact that you start with a nitpick, like you have to understand the reason why we're debating an all-time GOAT versus another all-time GOAT is because we start off with the fact that we respect that both guys are great. What you have to do is now elevate your guy's case to put him over the other GOAT. And if you nitpick with things like the 70s were trash, then you're going to have to prove that whole thing. And you started off with small points that you didn't even really prove. And then you
I told you we could debate this. We could debate this.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you see, first thing you got to do, first round,
something simple,
build your case, lay the foundation of what you're arguing. It's like, bro, you're in high school, bro. I suggest you join the debate club the next chance you get a chance for electives and all that. Join the debate club because it'll give you better technique in making doing debates.
Just
bro.
use your English writing skills, bro. The intro, then you do a body, then you do another body, then the conclusion. Because you everywhere.
See, over here, we love the kids, man. Over here, we love the kids, bro. We love the kids.
We're be interested.
You are getting educated.
Kareem,
you're everywhere, bro. You brought up the point that about a player, and you basically said you dropped him because he missed the playoffs. But the player that you elevated over him missed the playoffs. So why did you bring up that point?
And mind you, in an era, he's done it multiple times in an era where there's no dynasty because there did not being a dynasty is the problem.
And he missed the playoffs with 4 Hall of Famers on the team. He missed the playoffs with 4 Hall of Famers on the team.
See, that's the thing. Now you're trying to double in on a negative.
Scott, he
yeah,
missed the playoffs with 4 Hall of Famers on his team.
I'm sorry. I have to.
He missed the play-in. My bad. Not even. He missed the play-in tournament. He got an advantage that Kareem ain't even have. He missed the play-in tournament with 4 Hall of Famers.
Just like you do, bro, with Tim Duncan. You said Tim Duncan can't be top 10 because he was making All-NBA first team because he only has 17 and 10. Go look at what Kareem did at 82. He was averaging like 17, 8, and 2. That was what Kareem was doing.
That's fine, but see, first of all, I've never used that. I understand that if you're talking about me, I understand the context of the Duncan 17 and
you guys are not consistent.
No, see, again. No, it's not about being inconsistent.
I just pointed out the one. I just pointed out something small that you weren't consistent about.
And I taxed LeBron for missing the playoffs in his prime. How's that me being not inconsistent?
Okay. But you just said that he was over Kareem because Kareem missed the playoffs in his prime.
That's not the whole crux of my argument.
So Kareem missed the playoffs in his prime and he played in the 70s.
I literally said that. Oh my God. I literally
Scott,
said
remember
that.
this. I'm giving you Scott. Now you have to listen to the advice. Scott, when you do the debate, you have to listen to the advice. You're gonna have 3-minute rounds. So if you're gonna, you got what you build. You have to build on and drive it home. You're not gonna have enough time to say these points because you got to go all the way. And I know I'm very long-winded, and that's something I had to work on in my debate as well. But what you gotta. Yeah. But here's the thing. You have to build. At least I can build a foundation. And see, I'm a rebuttalist. I'm going to take what you said and throw your logic back in your face. See, the 17 and 10 thing I do against Duncan, that's because I'm comparing him to 13 other guys who had better.
But that was what was Kareem doing when he was set.
Yeah, you're right. That was what Kareem was doing. Okay,
but he was also getting voted MVP by his peers.
Thank you. See what I'm saying? But I get that part. But that's
I don't care about accolades. I don't care about.
See, this is the problem.
All right, bro. I've heard you mention accolades on other streams, bro. Bye.
All right.
No, that's not consistent with. That's why I pick up accolades because you're not consistent.
Yeah, because you know what it is, third. You know what it is, third. He's a youngster. And I do want to debate a good opponent. I don't just want an easy win. It's hold on, go ahead.
I'm gonna save you
trying to coach the man for
I'm gonna save you time, bro. You and I both know experience is the best teacher. It's that simple.
That's true.
Everything you about to say to this man, just show him when y'all debate. It's that simple.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I gotta change my fantasy team. I gotta put on some little smokies and.
Yeah, I gotta see what I gotta do about. Hold on. I just lost Malik Neighbors for the season. I gotta see what I got. I probably lost Malik Neighbors, who was my
I'm
first
glad I
round
ain't pick
pick.
him up today.
Dude, Baker
Jesus
Mayfield has 2 points at halftime.
I'm glad I ain't pick him today.
I was in first place,
went-
and Malik Neighbors is my first round pick, and then and now he's
So this
done
is
for my
promise we're
Giants.
actually
Yeah,
having
he
a
was
show
wild.
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna do this
He was
again.
wilding.
Tune in for
Well, I'm still in first
Hey,
place by a lot.
he got thrown the hospital ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard. I got to see what's going on, man. I've been here. All right.
Bro,
Catch
You
y'all
gotta
later,
stay
bro.
off them New York teams, bro.
I'm down. Bro, I'm down for the double header. Our debate will be on the 70s.
Oh,
Was it a good? I'm down for the double header.
Okay. We're doing it right now. Lights Out Sports Debate, ladies and gentlemen, where we're at exactly 2 hours. You've heard all the great arguments here, a lot of great points by everyone. Shout out to Hawk for bringing a lot of substance to the panel here. And Sturdy, of course. Stop by, everyone, for great points and acumen. You heard the debates, guys, or that are going to come up, guys. We're going to schedule more. Everyone can mix and match, call each other out. And Sturdy won, so he has picked the topic for next Sunday. And so, again, thanks for tuning in for another great show. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll leave it at that. Okay.